Alrighty, so our enrollment pipeline, let's get into that today. So the first thing that we're going to go through is my found you formula. So the found you formula is really about bringing students in. And this is like a mini version of the customer journey. Now, if you end up working with us in SAI and we get to work with each other for 8 weeks, in week number 1, we dive deep into the customer journey. And the reason we do it in week 1 is because it's the most important pillar to your marketing campaign. And if you don't have a mapped out customer journey, everything else you do may work, but it won't work to its full potential. You might spend some money and do some Facebook ads and it might kind of work, but we've seen members 2x and 3x their results from having the customer journey in place. So I'm going to give you kind of the foundation of the customer journey. And if you decide to work with us inside of SAI, we'll completely build yours out with you. So here are the steps that a customer goes through as they are finding out about your business. But these are the steps that you need to be tracking in your studio. This also forms part of our enrollment process that we teach in SAI. So the first thing we need to do as a studio owner is we need to do lead generation. Lead generation. Okay, there we go. Lead generation. So lead generation essentially is, how do we get people finding out about us? What do we do to get people finding out about our studio? So let me know in the chat, what do you do at the moment? What are you doing today to get people finding out about your studio? And we talked about some of these things yesterday, and we're talking about a lot of them tomorrow. We're going to go through all the distribution channels tomorrow. So you definitely want to be there for that. So seeing like word of mouth, Facebook, Instagram, Google, Instagram, organic posts, community shows, word of mouth, Facebook, IG, teacher middle schools. Yeah, lots of different ideas here. Lots of different ideas. I'll give you the top ideas tomorrow, right? So that's lead generation. What are you doing to generate buzz and activity around your studio? Now, from lead generation, what do you want? So by putting all of this stuff out in the world, what do you want to come back to you? Let me know in the chat. What do you want to come back? Inquiries, right? You want people to inquire about your classes. You're putting this marketing material out, so you get a touch point, so you get an inquiry. Because some people will say to me, I want an enrollment. And I'm like, no, there's 2 other things that have to happen first before there's enrollment, right? As I mentioned, remembering about building the connection and the relationship. Take them on a couple of dates first before you ask them to marry you, right? That's what our marketing can do for us. So we've got our lead gen happening. We've got people inquiring. If we're putting our offers in front of enough people in the right way through the right distribution channels, as I said, I'll talk about those tomorrow, we then generate inquiries. Now, inquiries could be people putting their head up saying, I want that free trial or that 7-day unlimited class pass or whatever it is that we shared and worked on yesterday when we talked about offers. But it then turns into a type of inquiry. Then from an inquiry, what we really want to do is get them in for a trial, right? So we want to take them from inquiry into trial. Occasionally, an inquiry will turn into an enrolled student right away, but this isn't a lot. And if you say to me, but Clint, it happens all the time to me. People often will say to me, but Clint, I always get people just enrolling for the whole year. I'm like, well, how many a week? And they're like, oh, not like, I don't know, maybe like a couple a month. And I'm like, exactly, that's the problem. Imagine if you got them in for a trial or you got them in with an offer, how many more people you'd be attracting into your studio, because that's what we want. Yes, some people will go straight to enrollment, but most people won't. Most people will want to test it out first. And that's what we're focused on. We want to go lead gen, all the activity that we can do, into getting inquiries, people reaching out, SMS, Instagram, emails, telephone calls, walking in, all the ways that they can interact with us, all those touch points, get them into a trial. We want them to come in for a trial. Then after the trial, we want them to enroll. Pretty simple, right? Generate the lead, get an inquiry, get them in for a trial, go through your enrollment process, right? Get them in as an enrolled student. That is the goal. But they're the steps, right? These are the basic steps of an enrollment process. You know, when we teach the 11-step enrollment process, we go a lot deeper into this inside of SAI, but here are the bones for you to follow and implement if you like. So the next thing is expand. So once we have an enrollment, now is our opportunity to deliver more value. How do we deliver more value? Well, we offer them additional classes or merchandise or private lessons or joining our competitive team, depending on their level and where they're at, right? We look at our business and all the different revenue streams that we have running inside of it, and we see what else could deliver value to this incredible individual family. And we offer those. So we expand their footprint within our business, within our studio. And the next thing that we want to do is ensure that we retain them, right? So we've brought them in, we've done the lead gen, we've done all the marketing exercises, we've done our 6-week or 1-week marketing campaign, we've put that out there, we've generated inquiries, we've then generated trials from those inquiries, we generate enrollments from those trials. We then walk through, we have a bunch of different scripts that we teach inside of SAI around, you know, how to get that enrollment in and also how to get those enrollments into more classes and purchasing more from you, all of that good stuff. So that's the expand section. And then we need to keep them. How do we keep them? Well, we keep them through our 6-week onboarding process. Every time a new student comes into your world, you'll need to walk them through the 6-week onboarding process. I'm going to share with you some tips around onboarding on Friday, in Friday's training. Right? You need to onboard them. You need a re-enrollment process. If you're not doing year-round enrollment, you kind of stop and they need to re-register. We need to make sure that we get them back. We have a 6-week re-enrollment process that we teach inside of SAI as well. So these are the things that you need to be focusing on in the funnel, right? In the funnel, in the enrollment funnel. Excuse me. The next thing that I want to go through is our lead generation flow. So how does this actually work on the lead generation side to get them in as an inquiry? So this is one piece I'm going to dive deep into for you right now. All right, so awesome. So the first thing is, step number 8 is we may have an ad, right? We may have an ad. And so an ad might be a Facebook ad, it might be an Instagram ad, we might send out an email, we may do a partnership with a local business where they email. And so anything that's in that lead generation side of things where we're pushing out an offer. So I'm going to use a Facebook ad because the Facebook ad is still the most effective way that our studio owners are generating inquiries, trials, and new enrollments in their studio. If you haven't yet mastered how to effectively, efficiently, and affordably do Facebook ads, that's something that you want to pay attention to. And it's something that you need to get really good at, whether it's you or a team member, to be able to go do extremely well when it comes to attracting students. Because if you've got goals over 100, you're going to need to use Facebook ads. You are going to need to use Facebook ads if you have a goal of getting more than 100 students over these next 12 months. Right? As I said, I've seen people get hundreds of new students using Facebook ads in a few months. So, but you definitely need to use it. It's definitely a tactic in your marketing tool belt. And I'll be talking more about Facebook ads next week with you guys on our Tuesday session. So make sure you come join me live for that session because we're going to talk a bit about ads. So you do an ad, and then normally what happens is you take them to a landing page, and a landing page is a single website page that has nothing else on it aside from them taking up the offer. So you do an ad which might talk about your studio, and you may offer your 7-day unlimited class pass. That ad is going to take them to a single web page which talks about the 7-day unlimited class pass. It's going to talk about the features, the benefits of your studio, going to walk them through a narrative on that landing page. Now, once they click on that landing page and give you their details, you're then going to take them to a thank you page. And the thank you page is where it gives them details about how to take up the offer. So how do they actually take action and redeem their 7-day unlimited class pass? And so that's going to then create your inquiry, right? Them taking that action creates the inquiry. Then from that inquiry, you want to make sure that you can book your trial with them. So when we look at these first three things, lead generation, inquiry, trial, this is kind of like the next level. There's about 5 levels that we can go deep into. But for today, we're just going to go into these 2. So you go from an ad, then goes to a landing page. You then give them a thank you page of how to redeem the offer. That generates some type of inquiry. And then the goal is to book a trial from that inquiry. Then you need to keep following up with those people. We have a great follow-up sequence inside of SAI, an email sequence for those people that don't book trials. So that's kind of the flow of this first section. So when you're creating your ads, when you're creating your marketing campaigns, let me now give you the standout ingredients, right? The standout ingredients. These are the things that you need to focus on. And we've talked about some of these before. Audience. You guys know how important it is to get clear on your audience. If you're doing Facebook advertising, audience is key. Our Facebook ads coach, Tracy Morgan, talks all about audience building and the best way to do it for the best amount of money. She's our Facebook ads coach inside of SAI, and she is the master. She works with our inner circle members every week inside of the IC, inside of the group, and she knows her stuff when it comes to advertising on Facebook for dance studio owners. We've had so many people come to us and say, I went on YouTube, I tried to learn Facebook ads, it doesn't work for me. I'm like, I know, because those people aren't teaching ads for studio owners, right? They're teaching Facebook ads for any business owner. And our business is so different, right? Running a dance studio is so different. You have essentially 2 customers. You have the parent and the student, and not a lot of businesses have that. And so you want to make sure that you're getting really specific advice. If you're going out into the world to learn about Facebook ads, you want to get advice from people that know how to do Facebook ads for studio owners. So the audience is really important. The next thing, which you guys know, is how important the offer is. And you always need to be making offers to your audience. Copy is really important as well. So what is the copy that you are using? I believe it's tomorrow. If you have trouble, does anyone have trouble here, like working out like what to write or what to put on social media or how to get people interested in your studio? You kind of like get stuck on the words. We've all been there. Well, tomorrow I'm going to give you a little bit of a crash course in copywriting. So definitely come along and join me tomorrow at tomorrow's training for that. So that's copy. The next thing is the imagery that you're using. So the images that you use in your advertising is really important. The amount of times I see someone advertising for a 3 to 4-year-old preschool class and they have an 8-year-old student in the photo. No, we don't want to do that. And so you really want to look at the imagery that you're using, the video footage that you're using as well in your classes, in your ad, sorry. And then you've got placement. So where is the ad being placed? And I'm not just talking about Facebook placement here. You know, you've got mobile, desktop. I'm also talking about the distribution channels, which we're going to go through tomorrow. And then lastly, you need to make sure for all of this, you have a project plan. A lot of people are flying blind. They kind of come up with an idea. So you've come up with an idea. We came up with a lot of ideas on Monday around what your goal is. How many new students do you want to attract? But then you need to make that a reality. And the way that you make that a reality is you put together a project plan so that you can follow the steps and give yourself the best opportunity possible of achieving your student goal. Whether you do it alone or whether you come along on the journey and do it with us inside of SAI for 8 weeks, where we hold your hand and walk you through all of these elements, you need a project plan. So what I haven't shared before is the elements to a successful project plan. And I get asked this all of the time. So I want to share that with you right now, which is our project plan must-haves. Oops. Alrighty. So I often get the question of like, Clint, how do I do a project plan? Like, how do I do a project plan that's going to like keep me on track, that's going to keep our team on track, that's going to hold everyone accountable? And there's really only 4 ingredients. It's actually quite simple. The hard thing is working out what goes into the project plan, right? So you've got a marketing campaign, you've got your goals of wanting to achieve X, Y, Z new students, but then the trick is, what do I put into the project plan to make it happen? So let me give you the framework of the project plan itself. Then we can go from there. So the first thing is set and prioritize your goals, right? Set and prioritize your goals. That's the first thing that you need to do. And guess what? We've already done it. We've already done that piece on Monday where you filled out, I've got it here, where you filled out the little grid with the leads that you need, the trials that you need, the enrollments that you need. That's already done. So you've set and prioritized your goals already. Step number 2 is define the action steps. Define the action steps. Now, this one's a little harder because what you need to do is you've come up with your goal. I want 100 new students or 150 new students over the next 12 months. Now we address the question of, what do I need to do? What action steps do I need to do, or myself and my team need to do to get us as close as possible or to surpass our goal? That's what you need to figure out. If you join us inside of SAI, we give you the marketing campaign, we give you the plan, so it's all there for you, right? But you need to define those action steps. The next thing is, who is responsible, right? Who is responsible for doing the specific task within the project plan? Might be you for everything. You might have a team member that can help you, but that's the first thing. Who is responsible? And then this 4th one is create due dates. Everything needs a due date. Everything needs a due date. And as the studio owner, you're your own boss. And so you might not give yourself due dates, or you might keep pushing those due dates back further and further and further. But that's not what we want. We want to make sure that you're held accountable as well as your team are held accountable. Because I've seen so many studio owners whose goals, they keep pushing them back further and further and further because they don't create a project plan and they don't stick to it. And then they wonder why they're broke and have no money because they haven't put the right plans in place in the right order and they haven't taken the right type of action. There's a lot of ingredients that have to go in the right order and mix the right way to create a successful studio. We have about 30 studios we work with inside of Inner Circle. We call them our Inner Circle Elite, who are doing over $1 million a year. I get to work with those members every single month. And, you know, the habits of those studio owners are very different to what we see in just the broad dance industry and the studio owners that are in the broader community. And a big part of their success comes down to project planning, taking our systems, putting them into practice, right, and executing on them. And so here is the little framework of the project plan. And so I want you to think about, when you've gone after goals before or you've set goals, has this been missing? Has the project plan been missing? And is that a contributor to why you haven't achieved the goals that you have put in place previously? Because a lot of people say to me, yeah, that's a reason. It's not the only reason, but it can be a reason. All right, let me share with you some tools, because everyone loves a good online tool. And so I'm not going to share all of them because there's a lot, but I want to share with you 6 tools that could really make a difference and an impact on your business, right? I want to share with you some things that are going to make a difference from a software or a tools perspective. So the first thing is I'm going to give you is Active Campaign. Now, whether you use Active Campaign or you use something different, an email marketing software is really important to help you automate some of the marketing inside of your studio. So when we talk about the enrollment process, the onboarding process, the re-enrollment process, the offers funnel, right? All of these can be automated inside of Active Campaign, right? All of these can be automated inside of ActiveCampaign or Keep or something similar, right? So everyone should be using an email marketing software. And a lot of our systems slide nicely into any of the softwares that you use for your email marketing. The next thing is Canva. I know a lot of you already use Canva, but Canva is fantastic because it acts as your little graphic design software that is really easy for your team to utilize. They have lots and lots of different templates that you can utilize as well in your studio. I know a lot of you already use it. Really great for graphic design if you don't have the funds to pay for a graphic designer. So you all should be jumping on to Canva. Zapier is another platform that's really interesting, and this connects a lot of different softwares together. This on its own doesn't do anything, but with all of the softwares out there, it gets everything talking to each other. I know a lot of you use this as well if you're in the techie space. I know a lot of you have used Zapier to connect your different campaigns together. Twilio is a great software we love. This helps with your SMS marketing. So a lot of you have given us your cell phone numbers. We SMS you and we remind you about our trainings that we're running. We use it with our members as well to remind them around trainings. Twilio is a really, really fantastic tool for you to be able to SMS and use SMS in your marketing. Because while email is good, compelling email is awesome, people are checking their texts a lot more than they're checking their email. So it's nice to have both strategies going at the same time. Number 5 is a project management software. So we love Asana. You may like Trello or Monday.com, but we love Asana for project management. We talk a lot about Asana inside of our programs. Trello is also fantastic as well. So either Asana or Trello. You can run your enrollment process in Trello as well, or Asana. Lots of cool stuff that you can do with this project management system. And so definitely looking at getting a project management system is a great one. And lastly, I want to share with you Upwork. And Upwork is a marketplace for very, very talented people in all different areas. So if you need a graphic designer, or you need a copywriter, or you need someone to help you with your website or SEO, or with admin help, or you need a virtual assistant, Upwork is a really, really great platform for you to get help with outsourcing. And so there's just a couple of tools. There's a lot more, and you are definitely not going to implement them all at once. There would be no point. You need the systems first before you start utilizing automation. A lot of people say, I signed up for ActiveCampaign. Now what do I do? And I'm like, well, what systems are you putting in there? Have you got the 11-step enrollment process? Have you built out the 6-week onboarding process? These are the people that don't join our program, because if you join us in SAI, we give you these systems to put into these platforms. But you need the systems first created before you jump into technology, because you just get way, way, way more confused and truly, really overwhelmed. And so you need to have that rule of system first, then implement technology. Don't go to technology first, because you'll get frustrated. You'll lose just a whole bunch of time trying to figure stuff out when you don't have the system to put into these platforms. All right, so let's talk about some enrollment boosters right now. Enrollment boosters. All right. So what can we do to increase our enrollment as we go through the enrollment process? The first thing is using SMS. We talked about SMS when I mentioned Twilio. SMS is awesome. It is a super fantastic way to interact with new prospects, with existing customers. And there's lots of different ways you can slot in SMS into our enrollment process. The next thing is an enrollment coordinator. You're like, Clint, I can't afford another team member. Here's the thing, is I have found in a lot of studios that too many people are touching the enrollment process. The studio owner's doing it, maybe an office admin's doing it, maybe a receptionist is doing it as well, and things fall through the gaps because there's not a keeper of enrollment. Everyone should have a keeper of enrollment, whether it's an existing team member that you train this process on, or it's someone that you bring on maybe 10 hours a week to manage the enrollment process. Someone needs to be responsible for the enrollment process. And it may be you to start with. That's completely okay. It's been all of us at some point, right? But you need to have someone that's solely responsible for your enrollments. And if it's going to bring you 70, 80, 90, $100,000 in the next 12 months, that's in the next 12 months. And if you keep all those people, it's going to bring you another 100 or 80 or $100,000 every year as you keep all of those students. You can definitely afford to invest in someone to help you with this. And number three, it's really important because I don't see enough people utilizing these templates, right? Of sales scripts. Templates of sales scripts. So this whole 11-step enrollment process that we teach, part of that is knowing what to say, how to say it, what to say it, and when to say it. And so you want to make sure that you've developed in your studio different sales conversation scripts. And you don't want your office manager reading a script line for line. You can do bullet points, but you need to make sure that it's a consistent experience. People say to me, Clint, no one can sell as well as I do. And I'm like, yeah, but you haven't given them the system to follow. So you're going from passion and excitement. They're going because you've told them to do it, but you haven't given them the training or the right messaging or the right scripting for them to be able to follow, a sales process really efficiently, effectively, and consistently. So you know your trial to enrollment ratios, right? You know those things. Alrighty, so let's go into this section of where, there we go. Where are the gaps? Where are the gaps? So as you go through this list, and I kind of had a dialogue and a conversation with you today around enrollment, project planning, and we're starting to pull it all together. What are the three biggest gaps you have in your studio? And I want you to tell me in the chat. Is it the lead gen piece? Do you not have scripts in place? Are you missing some technology? Do you have zero automation? Do you miss some systems so you can't have the automation yet? Right? Do you not have someone that's managing your enrollment process? So do you have a lot of people managing the enrollment process? Do you not have the scripts and the templates to have an efficient sales conversation with your prospects? Are you not project planning? So you don't have a project plan to follow to make sure you, as close as possible, achieve your goals. What are the top three things that you think are missing?